Just over 2 hours later, the Department of Homeland Security put out a statement.
Highlight that the Red Army was built out of White Army defectors. I'm not even going to get into that conversation. Yes, but a lot of people who go, every veteran is a bloodthirsty monster that is constantly trying to terrorize the global South, doesn't understand that, yes, regardless of that initial position, when push comes to shove, you're going to need someone who knows how to handle a fucking gun. And I know your bitch ass don't know how to fucking shoot a gun at all, okay? We're not going to get into this conversation right now, okay?
Definitively asserting what had happened, defending the ICE agent, accusing Renee Good of domestic terrorism. That's a characterization that you reiterated in a press conference half an hour later. Now, Republican Senator Tom Tillis said, quote, "It was very unusual to have a senior law enforcement..."
Grant Plattner is going to be our Trotsky, except, you know, he does not have the capacity to write prose in the same way that Trotsky did, regardless of my ideological disagreements with him. He was a fantastic writer. That much is 100% true. And anyone who actually contests, I mean, he wrote a little too much, as a matter of fact, if we're being real. The modern day Trotsky, Grant Plattner. Get ready for the most annoying interview of all time. Yeah, I know. Mike called himself the modern day Trot. Yeah, he would be. He would be counter-revolutionary.
Enforcement official to draw a conclusion about an event where the scene was still being processed. Generally speaking, law enforcement would recognize that a life was lost, that families are changed forever, the shooter's life will change forever. We're collecting video. We're trying to assess the situation. Why did you not wait for an investigation before making your comments?
Well, everything that I've said has been proven to be factual and the truth. This administration wants to operate in transparency. I have the responsibility as the Secretary of Homeland Security to know this information as soon as possible. Had just been in Minneapolis the day before, had already had conversations with officers on the ground and supervisors, and knew the facts, and decided that the department and the people of this country deserve to know the truth of the situation of what had unfolded in Minneapolis.
But with all due respect, Secretary, the first thing...
The puppy murderer, Kristi Noem. That virtually every single person that comes in here to be like, Hasan, where's your dog? Did you kill him? Loves, by the way.
You said was, quote, "What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow." Correct. Because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. Mm-hmm. That's not what happened. We all saw what happened.
It absolutely is what happened.
Oh, I mean, great. Great. That's not what happened at all. You know damn well she killed that puppy in self-defense. True. That's what I've heard as well. I believe this. Everybody knows that puppy and the goat was asking for it. Yeah, what if guess what? What if that puppy ran her over? What if that puppy actually commanded a vehicle and ran her over? She had to shoot it in the head. Yeah, what now, libtards? I guess you got owned.
Those officers had been out in enforcement action. A vehicle had been stuck. They had come to help get that vehicle out. That's when this individual started blocking traffic for minutes and minutes.
You said that the woman attacked them and surrounded them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Blocked the road for a long time and was yelling at them and impeding a federal law enforcement investigation. And that's what you need to focus on, Jake, is they were breaking the law by impeding and obstructing a law enforcement.
Yeah, you need to focus on my totally made up assessment of the situation rather than what you can see with your own two eyes, which is literally what everyone can see too. Please, why don't you actually abide by my perspective, which is much more favorable to the propaganda that I'm trying to cut right now? Please don't focus on the state-sanctioned murder that took place against a 37-year-old mom with plushie toys in the fucking glove compartment box in her goddamn Honda Pilot. Please stop believing your own two eyes.
They were breaking the law already, and these officers were doing their due diligence and what their training had prepared them to do to make sure they were handling it appropriately.
You said within hours of her being killed, you said that she was a domestic terrorist. How do you define domestic terrorist?
She weaponized her vehicle to conduct an act of violence against a law enforcement officer and the public. They are doing that.
How can you assert with certainty that she was trying to hurt the officer as opposed to she was trying to flee the scene?
If you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground. This individual, as you saw in the video that we released just 40...
Like, they really, I'm being honest, I think they really fucked up here. I think this is, and I said this at the day that it happened, I said this is a turning point because it's such a clear cut, it is such a clear cut, obvious, glaringly obvious It is such a clear-cut, glaringly obvious instance of wrongdoing, the most obvious instance of wrongdoing, especially to a victim that most people can like identify as a member of their own communities because she's a white woman. And I know that Twitter was going crazy over the whole like, oh, well, she's a lesbian and these guys actually hate like It's like the South African apartheid guy who's like, the first bullet we will use is against the race traders. You know, they want to kill white people that actually defend black people first. You know, that kind of attitude. But that's just Twitter fascism. In the real world, okay, the fucking normies, when they see that, they see exactly what we see. They see a 37-year-old mom. Doesn't matter if she's bisexual or lesbian. That doesn't matter at all. They see a 37-year-old white mother with plushies in the glove compartment, assassinated in broad daylight by a fucking dickhead ICE agent who was having an ego trip. Okay? That's what they saw. And sure, the other side's argument goes a long way on the internet, okay? Especially with Elon Musk's Twitter. But I promise you, this shit looks repulsive to the average person. Okay? Repulsive to the average person. And the administration should have, in this circumstance, done what they normally do, what they've done in the past. This is a bad apple. This is an unfortunate mishap. We will make sure that we go through the proper steps, investigate it, and we will let the law decide. But they doubled down. Okay? They fucking doubled down. They released the personal recording where he fucking calls her, where he calls Renee Good a fucking bitch. Renee Good's last words were, "I'm not even mad at you, dude." His words after shooting and killing her was fucking bitch. Like, if you want to understand how this political polarization has warped the consciousness of so many people, they thought this was a defensive video. They released it to a right-wing blog, thinking this would actually absolve the shooter. That's how fucking insane they are. They've lost their damn minds, brother. They're completely psychotic. They don't recognize it at all. If they had said, oh my God, this is so unfortunate, whatever, and did the normal thing that they did, people would still be upset. But there would be far less independents and normies that would be also horrified at the repulsive nature of this administration. It's the same thing that I said after Rob Reiner, and many of you didn't believe me. I said Rob Reiner was an American citizen who made a bunch of awesome movies, and when he was literally murdered by his son in the most gruesome fashion, Trump's response was going to come across as insane and repulsive. And sure, there's always that 20% not 30, but 20% of the cult that will go, nah, that's right, Rob deserved it. He was libtarded or whatever the fuck. Okay? But most people that are in the margins, most people in the margins saw that and were horrified because they were like, the fuck do you mean? This guy's just like a regular ass dude. Sure, he was liberal, but like, who cares? I watched his movies. I loved it.
Hours after this incident showed that this officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it, and he defended his life and those colleagues around him and the public.
The question is, I don't doubt. My position is, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Some people say that it clearly showed that she was trying to hit him and did. Some people say, no, she was clearly trying to move her car and flee and get away. I don't know. What I'm saying is, how do you know? How can you assert for a fact within hours, before any investigation, this is what happened?
The facts of the situation are that the vehicle was weaponized and it attacked the law enforcement officer. He defended himself and he defended those individuals around him. That is the definition. When there is something that is weaponized to use against the public and law enforcement, that is an act of domestic terrorism. It happened in our shores. It happened here in our country. You don't get to change the facts just because you don't like them. We will continue to look at this individual and what her motivations were. We know that there was, throughout that morning, she had harassed and impeded law enforcement operations. That raises the suspicion level with all of these law enforcement officers as far as paying attention to what her capacity is. And as you see on the videos, and they've proven out, that this law enforcement officer took the action that his training prepared him for, and he worked to make sure that he could save his own life and those around him.
How can you assert that there's no ambiguity in this before any investigation has taken place?
I had just been in Minneapolis and had been with those officers, had seen what they were facing on the streets every day, and had talked to their supervisors as soon as the incident happened and had gotten the facts and seen videos before I ever went to talk at that press conference.
Kaya status, Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, killed Kaya in a lawful act of self-defense.
Conference. And the Trump administration and President Trump is the most transparent and open government that we've ever had. Give the public the information, give them what they need to know about a situation.
Kristi Noem then called her ISIS after dumping her body in a ditch. Yeah. She said Kaya is a domestic terrorist.
So they could have the truth as soon as possible.
So if this agents were perfectly fine, if everything he did was accurate, does that mean that other ICE agents should
He
look
wasn't
at what...
perfectly fine. He was injured. He went to the hospital.
No,
He
his
was
actions
treated.
were fine. I didn't say...
In fact, I think a lot of people and guests, and even you yourself, called this situation something very different and untruthful about what it was, as far as...
What did I say that was untruthful?
That this was not a correct definition of what was happening on the ground. That this
I said that...
My feelings are hurt because of your accurate reporting on the events that every American saw with their own two eyes. Aw, shit, dude. Well, tough titties, I guess. If you can't take the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen. Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean is hurtful. Another L moment live in live TV. Oh, I'm going to get to that. Don't worry. The former spokesperson for former Ocasio-Cortez comms director, Corbin Trent, my fucking goat.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle is not what we see on the videotape, and it's not.
Bro, going hyper woke, telling women to get out of the kitchen. Oh, true. I didn't even realize I was being super woke. Woke too. I was telling her to get out of the kitchen, okay? Not getting back into the kitchen. You're right. You caught me. Okay? Yeah, don't be ableist. Not everyone has two eyes. I'm going to be honest with you. I am being ableist when I talk about Kristi Noem because she is dumber than dirt, okay? She has nothing going on up there. It is so crazy to me how bad she is at her fucking job. Like, what an insane administration this is, man. Trump is just like, oh, are you like, do you have a serious intellectual disability? It's fine. As long as you demonstrate absolute fealty to me, we're good. As I like to say, she is a medically stupid person, okay? Needs constant medical supervision 24/7.
Absolutely is the facts of what happened on the ground that day. They
No, it's-
were there pushing out a vehicle earlier. They had helped each other.
But that's not
do
what you
that.
said. That's not what you said.
Yes,
they were pushing out a
absolutely
vehicle.
what I said. There's not one.
We
thing
all
that-
seen the video. I don't need to relitigate it. We've all seen the video. She is blocking the street. They approach her.
You haven't seen the video of the entire morning and the previous encounters with this individual.
Oh, we
Yes.
have aired it. Yes, we have. On Thursday, we were airing and noting the fact that she was there for several minutes, for minutes and minutes and minutes. She was
Obviously, if she was there for several minutes, then, you know, she deserves to be murdered, guys. I mean, case closed. I'm an apolitical guy who's no nonsense, and common sense is what I believe, okay? And common sense in this moment dictates that anyone that ever dare disobey an ICE agent, no matter how illegal that ICE agent is behaving in, is actually worthy of the death sentence. You know, thank God. True centrism.
protesting without
And
question.
at previous locations that morning, that these vehicles had been previously down the block on video that you haven't seen. There's more information
But
that
the
this
question
individual
is
was
not-
impeding law enforcement operations throughout the previous moments and hours before this incident
The question
happened.
is, what was she doing when she was moving her car?
The question
That's
is,
the question.
is why are we arguing with a president who's working to keep people safe? Why are we arguing with law enforcement operations that have gone on in this country for years, and we're working to collect murderers and rapists and drug traffickers and fraudsters off the streets of Minnesota, and we don't have local law enforcement and local elected officials that are partnering with us to help do that work? Overwhelmingly, the people in this country said they wanted America to be safe again, that they didn't want dangerous criminals on our streets. I would encourage the elected leaders in that city and in that state to work with us so that we can do our operations without the kind of opposition and people that are conducting and perpetuating the kind of violent rhetoric that we're seeing today.
DHS policy authorizes use of deadly force only, quote, when no reasonably effective, safe, and feasible alternatives appears to exist. Could he not have just gotten out of the way?
That this individual and
Once again, if you think that a random migrant, documented or undocumented, is actually a criminal and not a fucking member of ICE that is storming the fucking streets, violating the Constitution, breaking people's doors down, apprehending them with administrative warrants that give them no real legal opportunity to fucking engage in any sort of like search and seizure operation or extraction operation, or even killing people in the fucking streets, you're a goddamn dullard, okay? You are a fucking moron. You are a troglodyte. Who is the real criminal here? Random Guatemalan guy who's a landscaper? Or the fucking random Guatemalan American who's working at ICE who's shooting people in the fucking head? No disrespect to the Guatemalans, but let's be real. A lot of the ICE guys are, 52% of Customs and Border Patrol is Hispanic, okay? I think ICE are the real criminals, okay?
this officer is a highly experienced law enforcement officer. He has years of training and specialized training for these types of situations.
Actually, it's probably higher than that. It used to be 52%. It's probably fucking higher now. Let's be real.
We're grateful that he's alive. It's a tragic situation, and we're going to continue to work on the investigation into the individual and find out what the motivation.
My cousin was Border Patrol. He's darker than me. Yeah, I mean. A literal Papers, Please society. That's where we're heading. I mean, that is where we're at. That's not where we're heading. That's where we're
behind their
at.
actions that day.
We're grateful that, that he's alive, too. I want to play this moment from the officer's cell phone video.
Get out of the car. Whoa! Fucking bitch.
Damn,
Is
they
that
showed...
Agent Ross's voice calling Renee Good a fucking bitch?
Wait, what the fuck? It's not even censored? Wait, what the hell? What the heliante, CNN? Hey, yo, Jake Tapper. Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Can't determine which one it is, but it could be, sir.
In June of last year, Agent Ross had his arm...
Why is Jake Tapper asking real questions? I mean, he did this last time, too. When enough liberals fucking turn on the admin, when it becomes favorable and fashionable to shit on Trump, he will do it. He did it pretty aggressively last time, too. The only difference as to why CNN didn't do it this time around from the start is because they were pivoting to the right as well. And they miscalculated, in my opinion. I think a lot of people, in my opinion, miscalculated. They thought that there was a real popular mandate for Trump because they're fucking stupid. They didn't realize it was an economy election with a decrepit administration run by a carcass, and that people were very frustrated with that shit. And even then, Donald Trump won by marginal votes. He did not win this like Reagan-style sweep at all. But these fucking dumbasses thought that this meant something, that this meant like a true sea change. And what did I say? What did I fucking say? The reason why a lot of young people voted for Trump was because they were too fucking young to remember all the way up until 2020. Okay? They were too young. They also, for some weird reason, decided to claim all of like the COVID lockdowns with Democrats in general. Okay, so the only like restriction of movement that they encountered at the time, even if it was for good reason, whether it be mask mandates or whether it be mass inoculation campaigns or whether it be lockdowns, was seen as like what the Democrats are doing, even though most of that shit happened under Trump, ironically enough. And they only knew Biden as the guy who fucked up the economy, who didn't actually make the necessary changes. And they were dumb enough, especially the youth, were dumb enough to take a shot in the dark with Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump won the low propensity voters. Okay? But what did I say? The moment that they actually get into the Trump administration and realize none of these changes are coming, and it's only going to be dumb shit like, rooting out the 14 transgender high school athletes or something, and that's the only area of impact that they are going to see. And when that doesn't fucking translate to any real difference in their lives, any material changes that they can experience, they're going to fucking experience buyer's remorse. And that's precisely what has happened. Just like I said, people who think that they wanted mass deportations because they thought every single migrant was a criminal are going to realize that their neighbors are getting deported, and they don't like that. They're going to go, these guys are the good guys. What the fuck is happening? These are the good migrants. Why are they not making this distinction between the good migrants and the bad migrants? And once again, that is what's happening as well. There's buyer's remorse in that regard as well. I told you that this is what was going to happen. Here's you saying the exact same thing in October 24th. This is another glaringly obvious example where people think they want mass deportations and concentration camps, but if it happens, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is actually kind of fucked up. This happens very frequently. Okay? This happens very frequently. Now, that's one aspect of this. Okay? People do not understand the impact of the legislation that they're advocating for. When this is October 24th, 2024, Harris Town Hall, Rishi Torres, Ben Shapiro, Jubilee, Ethan Drama, LSF. Look at that. Faced with the actual impact of the legislation that they're advocating. The only difference is I was way more fucking tan. Look at how pasty I am now. Devastating. They go, oh, that's not what's going to happen. Come on. They fantasize about a completely alternative way that this is going to unfold in a way that actually is positive for them. Okay? I don't know if this was the one. Republicans don't know anything about their party. That's very bad for American democracy. Denying people health insurance because of pre-existing conditions is both unconscionably cruel and despised by voters. As a result, Republicans will routinely lie about their position on this issue. The most outrageous instance of this is when former Senator Cory Gardner cut an ad with his mom, a cancer survivor, saying he was fighting to protect those with pre-existing conditions. There are certainly efforts to fact check, but as this result suggests, the effects of these efforts may be limited. Okay? If Republicans were full tilt and if Republicans were, unimaginably anti-immigrant, then, like, if they were across the board or if they were across the board, like, for certain policies, they would not vote against those policies when it is presented to them in clear-cut, direct ballot measures that they vote for. Okay? You have to understand this. Stealing YouTuber content again. Sometimes I genuinely should just like play my older videos and run it on repeat. Like if I just went full screen right now and talked about this is the exact same commentary that works. It's the exact same commentary. Like I should just do that every now and then. Just run fucking reruns. Why am I wasting my goddamn breath? I'm willing to bet that chat would be also bringing up the same dumbass talking points anyway. Ugh. Smells terrible. It is not surprising. Is it not shocking to you that Republicans in deep red states, even in Ohio or Kansas, Kentucky, will vote to restore abortion protections? But they vote for Republicans that end up taking away abortion access from them? I was using abortion as an example to try to get Democrats to recognize that this immigration shit is not something to run away from, is not something to be fearful of, and that the more fearful their approach is to talking about immigration, the more reluctant they are to actually offer counter talking points on immigration, the more the Republicans will dominate discourse. And when they win, they would be able to do all of these like horrifying things in relation to immigration. And then once they actually, what is this? Illegal means illegal. They could be the best people, but the law should be enforced. I just don't get the point of enforcing immigration laws. Yeah, great question. These guys are not actually enforcing good immigration laws. You can have good immigration laws and bad immigration laws, right? I think you understand that. Good immigration laws would be the most morally just thing that you can do. I'm an ICE agent and a member of this community, by the way. Shut the fuck up. There is 0% chance that you are literally. I had a personal altercation with Brad Lander. He was still kind to us despite being there to confront us. I would want him to get elected, even though he would make our job much harder. Brother, what could you possibly be getting out of being a part of this community? I genuinely don't understand. Quit your job right now, okay? Quit your fucking job right now. Quit your fucking job right now. Dude, what the fuck? How do you get any satisfaction out of this? How can you get... I call you motherfuckers Gestapo every day. How is that possible? You're not enforcing immigration laws, dumbass. You're just basically harassing random people. The entire point of immigration, like if Donald Trump's presented argument was correct, that like these undocumented migrants were actually an ever-present danger to regular American citizens, then it would be justifiable to actually apprehend them as long as you follow due process. But that's not the fucking case. The people that you are literally kidnapping from their court hearings, as you have personal altercations with Brad Lander, are people who are no different than you. They're no different than you. As a matter of fact, they actually have a helpful output in general. They're a part of the productive forces. You're not. They do more for this country than you do. That's crazy. I genuinely don't understand how you could be in here day in, day out. I swear I've been here for like the past 4 to 5 years. First of all, you've been an account created December 4th. following since December 4th. So I don't know about that. I need money. It's not an easy job, but I got pills to pay. I can't just quit. I don't brutalize them. I don't harass them. I don't get joy out of it. It's my job. Brother, quit your job and get something else. Quit your job and do something else. I promise you. Okay? It will be better for your morality and maybe even better down the line when there might be some legal repercussions for the actions that you engaged in. Because there is going to be a point. Right now, you think there is a point where you could just be like, oh yeah, I'm just following orders. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. You are already engaging in a bunch of fucking immoral behavior. Okay? How can you sit there and feel like what you're doing is good for the goddamn country when you're literally ripping away families in a court right after they leave the immigration court hearing? Like, how can you at any given point look at what you're doing there and go, well, a job is a job. You know, it is what it is. Like, your job is kidnapping random fucking people who could just as easily get their paperwork done. If they had more money, then they would not even be considered illegal. Let's be real. That's the exact same thing that Nazis said, by the way. I'm just following orders. That's what they said. And that's what you're doing right now. If you've genuinely been in this community for fucking every day at 26 Federal Plaza, we have a list of people with criminal offenses who will get their cases dismissed. We don't take anybody. We take specific people. Dude, we just showed that your own ICE data shows that the largest group of immigrants that are being detained right now, the largest growth in immigrants being detained, have no criminal background whatsoever. What are you talking about? No, you don't take specific people. That's ridiculous. That is fucking ridiculous. You think ICE is taking specific people. Maybe your unit has only taken specific people. But the reality of the matter is that's not what's going on. How can you say that? They're fucking detaining American citizens all the goddamn time. It's ridiculous. And once again, even the specific people that you are detaining, even the specific people that you think you're detaining, are being detained and being deported because of paperwork. It is ridiculous. Deportation is a very violent process in general, being ripped away from your friends, your family, your job, everything that you know. The punishment needs to be suitable for the crime. If the crime is just, sorry, we're never going to give you the proper paperwork as we fucking use and abuse you, knowing full well, and if you've been an ICE agent for years, you know this already, ICE agents know exactly where the undocumented migrants are because there's a handshake agreement, at least under different administrations, as to people playing ball with ICE that will never get their paperwork cleared. But everybody knows exactly where they are. Everybody knows that they're not like violating the fucking laws in an egregious manner. At most, it's like unpaid bills or traffic violations or moving violations or whatever the fuck. Okay? You're out here making it seem like you're you got people with criminal offenses like fucking rapists and baby decapitators or some shit. You either are gaslighting yourself into believing that because the facts don't actually bear that out at all. The data doesn't include crimes like DUI. DUI is a big part of people we target right now. And trust me, we do take specific people. I can't talk for ERO New York. I can talk for ERO New York, but can't for the entire country, but yes. I'm not even going to get into like whether or not someone who is engaged in a fucking DUI or at least arrested for a DUI, not convicted, arrested for a DUI is worthy of fucking deporting from the goddamn country. Defense attorney here, ICE is literally notorious in courts here for literally just sitting in courtrooms and seeing if anyone has an immigration issue and then just fucking taking them. It's not specific people. They would literally just go to court and listen for people to deport. Exactly. Yeah, ICE be like, no, nine, you don't understand it. We are only taking the bad Jews, yeah? The bad Jews. The bad Juden, not the good Juden. All right? Some of the Juden were doing usury, and we are taking them, not the bad ones. Or not the good ones, just the bad ones. I can't speak for everyone else in the SS, but mine unit is only taking the bad Jews and not the good ones. Earlier today, when you said about 20% of the country is in complete denial about the way in which the country has become unapologetically fascist, I thought it definitely has to be more than 20%. Then I remembered I live in Missouri and I'm 100% surrounded by that 20% at any given time. Yes, that's probably what it is. Like, oh, dude, you guys had before I lose your attention, I need you to ask something. You always say we need to give amnesty to people. Even if we did, wouldn't we then have to enforce immigration laws? Yes, there is a point where immigration laws can be enforced, but that process is paperwork. You realize that you are fucking apprehending and deporting people for paperwork problems, right? At the end of the day, that's all this is. The punishment for a DUI is a punishment for a DUI, okay? The punishment for a DUI on top of paperwork issues should not mean that someone gets fucking lasered out and shipped off to CCOT in El Salvador into a slave labor camp. What the fuck? It's a troll. I don't even think this is a troll because, I mean, either this is the most elaborate bit because he was in here talking about Brad Lander and he's talking about New York ERO. What I'm doing is enforcing laws that the Congress passed. How come Congress people don't get any smoke, but I get screamed at every day? Brother, because you're the one who's doing the enforcement. Fuck the Congress people. You think we like the Congress people? If you've been in here for 4 to 5 years, who the fuck do you think I like in Congress? What are you, crazy? Go deport them. I think the American government, the American people would celebrate you for doing that instead of deporting random fucking landscapers. What the fuck? That's the whole point. No one who's actually worthy of any sort of serious scrutiny, serious cruelty ever gets the fucking receiving end of said punishment. It's always random vulnerable people that haven't actually done anything. And it's all just people justifying why they have to do this all the way down. Ridiculous. Kaya, please. Ice Agent on Twitch? I don't believe it. I do believe it. He probably got banned in a previous account. That's why he's in here in a sock account. If he's been in here for 4 to 5 years, it does make sense. Not this community, but people recording raids yell Nazi, SS scum all the time, but no one gets to Congress and yells at them. Wait, yes, they do. Also, Congresspersons are not as accessible as an ICE agent who is doing the fucking deportation in that moment. This doesn't mean that they're not criminal scumbags either. And in opportune moments, when they are in broad daylight in public, people do that same exact thing. They're just not in public as frequently as a fucking ICE agent is. Ask me specific questions if you don't believe me, but I have a different account, but I just didn't want to dox the account I always use. Oh my God, this is like... That's crazy. That's crazy. I always wondered, like, are there any cops in here? Because I shit on cops so much. But it turns out there's ICE agents, so there might as well be fucking cops in here too. How the fuck does that even work? Like, I get why there are veterans in this community, because I do actually consistently talk about, you know, how brainwashed every American citizen is. But like maybe a former cop. Maybe a former cop or something. I was shocked when there was a British cop that actually approached me and told me he was a fucking fan. But I guess they're British, so they were just like thinking I'm only shitting on American cops or something. I don't know. Brother, I know the job market is ass. Okay, I get it. I understand it. But there is no honor in this, okay? If there was honor in this, you wouldn't be trying to fucking, you know, justify it with self-soothing statements over and over again, being like, listen, I don't know. It's just a job. It's all this shit. He put a digital mask on by creating a second account. Because, like, at the end of the day, you know how I always say cops need to do their jobs, like, and they're not doing their jobs. And there's also like detectives and shit too, obviously. Like there is a valid purpose for it. Okay. But there is no valid purpose for ICE. It's not defending the American borders. It's not defending anything at all. There's a valid for customs. There's a valid for border patrol. There's a valid reason for border patrol to exist. There's a valid reason for INS to exist. But the whole point of INS is supposed to literally conduct, very rarely, deportation initiatives, and for the most part recognize if someone is actually recognize if someone's like paperwork is actually out of date or something, is to go to them and be like, your paperwork is out of date, you have to fix this, you have to go to fucking court. Like, that's in a normal circumstance, that's how it's supposed to be. INS isn't a thing anymore. I know, I'm just saying that's what it used to be. It used to be INS. That is what it's supposed to work. That's how it's supposed to work in this situation. As a vet, I get where you're coming from, but most of the dudes I serve with kind of deserve to be on the streets with a single Hello Kitty sock and a drinking problem. Okay, that's crazy. Anyway. I don't plan on doing this forever. I would like to move on to HSI or FBI or something, but yeah, right now this is what I have to deal with. Oh my God, brother. Well, good luck, because there's not any funding on that other side either. HSI or FBI, great. Bro, you are working in a call center. They don't fuck with you. Ask them what color of the day is. What? What the color of the day is? What do you mean? Politicians are hearing about it. Congressional Republicans. What? It's Fed talk. I saw it in a movie. What? What the fuck are you saying? Bro, you have to quit your job. I'm serious. You have to quit your job and also leak all of the fucked up shit that they've done to a journalist immediately. Maybe even you can write a book about it if you want, but that's crazy. Color of the day for random drug testing? Oh. Like, I understand the job market not being shit, but that's crazy that you're like, well, job market's not shit, so I have to fucking apprehend random abuelas outside of a fucking courthouse because the current administration has decided that they ain't shit, that we're basically going to use them as a fucking talking point. You know what I mean? We're just basically going to use them. We're going to use these people that we have abused for years and years as a way to make 20% of the population feel superior and not recognize how hard they're getting ass fucked too. Because everyone's getting fucked in this situation except for the 1%. And basically all these guys are doing is like throwing red meat in front of people, and that red meat happens to be the deportation and apprehension of some of the most vulnerable people in American society that have done nothing really. They getting lobster in the army. Meanwhile, you're getting yelled at. Pick the wrong job, bub. Hey, Hasan. I'm a longtime fascist community member. I agree with most of the things you say, but I just believe in a culture in group and strong corporate control over the economy. Ay, ay, ay. You shouldn't join the military either, okay? You should not join the military either. Don't do this, okay? Do anything but that. Don't join the police force. Do not join the military. Do not join ICE. Definitely do not join ICE. Holy shit. Yeah, go be a fucking firefighter, guys. Come on, go be a builder. Do something worthwhile, please.
Drove away from a traffic stop. It dragged him about 100 yards. Here's what Vice President Vance said about the incident this week.
Oh,
That
this
very
is my
ICE
dude.
officer.
This guy's awesome. This is Spencer Rapone, chatter. He got, I think he got, yeah, Army splits with West Point grad who touted communist revolt. Yeah. I gave you his name. Yep, see, Spencer Rapone. June 15th, 2018 photo. West Point graduate Spencer Rapone leans into his motorcycle at a park in Watertown, New York as a part of the Army with other than honorable discharge for conduct unbecoming of an officer, including his online activities of promoting communism and disparaging top U.S. officials. No, I never had Spencer on the broadcast, no. Golden, yeah, but Nazi symbols are okay. Yeah, obviously, because, you know, it's the number one, the primary enemy here is the communists, obviously. Anyway, Golden Kappa train, by the way. We are in the Golden Kappa train. Opinion polling is out, not looking good for ICE. Do you think ICE agents should face criminal charges for shooting the woman in Minneapolis? Yes, 53%. No, 30%. Oh my God. God, Americans are cattle. We deserve everything that we're getting. Honestly, we really do. I'm sorry. Broadly, we are a cattle country. Okay. We are a nation state of cackling hyenas and cattle. Are you fucking kidding me? 30% no? Holy fuck. Democrats 90% say yes. Republicans 63% say no. Independents 54% say yes. 63%. Oh my God, these Republicans, man, it is crazy. Do you think I should be allowed to enter K through 12 school campuses? Should not be allowed 64%. Should be allowed 20%. Not sure 16%. Even Republicans are at 39%. Should not be allowed, by the way. As someone who's been living here in the Twin Cities for a couple of years, I can confirm these people exist. I know. We are a nation of lobotomy patients, dude. Straight up. Like a good chunk of the population is just absolutely lobotomized and don't even realize what they're advocating for, even when it's happening in front of them. Like there's a difference. There's a difference between voting for something, thinking that it's going to be good, and then actually receiving it and realizing it's not so good. The maximalist brain damage is basically experiencing the bad and then still trying to find a way to claim it's good. Okay? And obviously, the worst version of this is when it happens to you and you still defend it. If it happens to you and you still do, oh, thank you. If it happens to you and you still defend it, you are, I don't even know at that point. You're not even cattle at that point. You're just fucking, you don't even have the brain of an insect. There's got to be at least a couple liberals in here, though, that were previously like, Hasan, I didn't really fully understand what you were talking about. I was scared about the whole like re-education camp shit. But now I'm actually beginning to recognize that you were right. Got to be a couple of them in here, right? There has to be. For years and years, people yelled at me and said I was so fucking crazy.
Your green card holder? Yes, do you have it on you? No, I don't have it. What you gonna do some check really quick, alright? You know what your
What is this? China's CR-450 is now the world's fastest high-speed rail. Oh, stop, dude. Stop showing me this.
Nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car.
We're watching the American fascist collapse unfold, and you're showing me fucking China flexing on us. It's what do you want me to kill myself, dude? What do you want me to do? Die? Do you want me to just be the first person that has died from heartache?
6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about...
Oh, he was sensitive. Maybe you should get off the fucking job then. The fuck do you mean he was sensitive? That was the dumbest argument. The infantilization of a fucking Gestapo officer is so crazy to me. Okay? Oh, he was sensy. Oh, shit, dude. He was sensitive. I guess he should fuck my mom and kill my family then. If he's sensitive, oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Why didn't I factor the fucking feelings of the assassination guy? Why didn't I factor in the feelings of the fucking ICE agent?
Somebody ramming him with an automobile.
If this is relevant, first of all, it's horrible that that happened. If it's relevant, which the vice president seems to think it is, do you think this understandably very traumatic event that this officer went through last June might have influenced, as the vice president is suggesting happened, how he responded?
Now, there's no indication to that, but the facts is that we've seen vehicles weaponized over 100 times in the last several months against our law enforcement officers. So they definitely know that the threat is real, that individuals who are trained by activists to go out and to impede their law enforcement operations will weaponize their vehicles and try to run them over and drag them and not stop. So they certainly go into these situations with that knowledge that that could happen, and that's what their training prepares them for.
What evidence are you looking at that so many other...
That's what their training prepares them for? What, killing people? That's not the training.
people around the country look at and they say, it looked to me, her tires were turned to the right, she was moving her car, and they see a woman trying to flee. You say she was trying to kill the officer. No investigation has happened. Why are you so certain that your interpretation is the truth when an investigation hasn't even happened?
Well, Jake, I'm watching the videos.
Other
I'm
people are
talking to
watching the
officers.
videos
I'm getting
and
the
coming
facts.
to a different conclusion.
Everything that we've stated as the Department of Homeland Security and this administration has been factual. And I wish we would talk factually about what we see every day from these protesters, what they do, what they say, how they chant over and over, kill ICE, attack law enforcement, how they're trained to perpetuate violence against them and to stop the work that they do every day. Each of these law enforcement officers takes an oath to protect this country and uphold the law. They go out every day and enforce the laws of this country to keep people safe. So these individuals that are out there harassing them while they do that work, doxing their identities, threatening them and their families, it's unacceptable. And that's why President Trump is so strong in supporting their operations in all of these cities.
The officer appeared to have fired 3 shots, the first one through the front windshield, the second and third through the side window. What is the justification for the second and third, given that the officer was out of harm's way?
You're watching the same videos that I am, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're watching the same ones. So you see how quickly the situation unfolded, how the officer was in front of the vehicle when she sped off, how she ran into him, and how he had to take quick action based on his training to defend himself and his colleagues around him.
Once he's out of harm's way.
That's very clear and factual from the videos that you can see. It's nobody's interpretation. We don't get to change it because we can see it with our eyes and we can build on the evidence that we have on the ground.
This morning, a man is in custody after driving this U-Haul into...
Fox still doing what? The villainize the white women tag villain news network? Oh yeah, I saw that. Organized gangs of wine moms. Do you even hear yourselves? New York Times recently reported on something that happened in Huntington Park, California in June. ICE CBP used explosives to blow up the door. Yeah, I saw this.
It's just after 6 a.m. on Flower Street.
It's one of the most insane stories, dude. It is so fucking nutty.
Amid the morning calm, a security camera
Wait,
captured.
why don't you just send me the YouTube link, actually? Why the fuck are we watching it like this on TikTok? Loki, they're right. The white wine moms are showing up for rapid response way more than what I would consider typical leftist protesters. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think it's like, I think this is where we're at. I think the white moms, the white wine moms are radicalized.
About this case from the very beginning, and they have had to change their story and their narrative, because at first you heard Democrats, including the mayor of Minneapolis, saying that the car never struck the officer and the lethal force was unjustified. Now, of course, there is plentiful video evidence to show that the officer was struck by the car, that this deranged lunatic woman was trying to ram him over with her vehicle and was using that vehicle as a weapon, which justifies domestic terrorism. And unfortunately, we are seeing these instances play out in American communities across the country, where you have these organized, paid antagonists who are part of these groups that are actively, unlawfully impeding lawful law enforcement operations. They are harassing and targeting ICE agents, trying to make it impossible, again, for them to carry out their duties. That's what was happening in this case. That officer used his training. I understand that he's been on the force and he's been protecting American communities for many, many years. He's an experienced and brave individual who unfortunately had to make a very tough decision and was put in that position by these paid agitators who have been doing this all over the country.
Caroline.
We have no nation, man. We don't have a country. Like, this is the American government talking about an American taxpaying citizen that was fucking assassinated. Levitt needs to compare notes with Trump. Oh, yeah. Donald Trump has been also more sympathetic, at least, seemingly. Not to say much, but, you know, he's like, oh, it was very unfortunate.
What's your assessment there?
It was highly disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing, they were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it.
But just disrespect.
With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous.
Do you believe that deadly force was necessary?
Never mind. I take it back. The other day when he was met with the footage, he was like, oh, it's very unfortunate. And now he's doing the boomer thing where just like, oh, she was disrespectful to law enforcement, so she deserved to die. The president, by the way, talking about, you know, an American citizen. I was wrong to assume consistency.
It's just after 6 a.m. on
Actually, I want to watch bits and pieces of the Nick Shitley interview that Channel 5 conducted, because I've seen some viral pieces of it, and I know a lot of people are going to get mad and be like, oh, why you're watching Channel 5 or whatever, but It's a fairly viral video, and it's not about Andrew, but more so about Nick Shirley. But before I get to that, here's the last thing I wanted to show you.
So what's funny to me is, when is violence? When is protest? When is this all acceptable?
But isn't that the same though?
Why do people hate Channel 5? It's because of what the person that runs Channel 5 did. Andrew went through change now. I haven't kept up with him, so I don't know. But one thing I will say, is that despite of the criminal acts, in my opinion, and even the initial response that came from him, he could have very easily pivoted to the right, and he weirdly enough did not. This isn't to like undermine victims or anything like that. It's just objectively, he did not pivot to the fucking right when he could have easily done so. He's deeply remorseful, apologized, and has made strides to learn and improve. Are you familiar with this ad running for you on Twitter? No. What is this? Disarm with style in this union-made Hasan Piker t-shirt. Embrace peace and make a statement. What the fuck is this? No, I don't know what the fuck this is. Is it like AI or something? Hold on. Let me click on it. No, it goes... Wait, what? Shop? Where does this go? Shop.app products? Is this actually my own? I got those too? What the fuck is this? I've seen these on YouTube. Oh, it's the Shopify aggregator. I wonder if Shopify itself is posting this on Twitter, or if my like Warren James is doing it. I don't know. They're saying you paid to have them put up. Yeah, dude. Famously, I love doing ads in general. I mean, I don't know, but I'll ask Warren James if they are doing it. Check the last message. I think it's a Twitter-owned account. They're trying to bring product recommendations in-house instead of from advertisers like Amazon, etc. Yeah, it might be a Shopify ad. Like, it might be something that Shopify is paying for. Because I am a my website is run by Shopify. What was I going to look at? Oh, this. Here, let's watch this. This is former Ocasio-Cortez comms director on Fox News, absolutely cooking.
So what's funny to me is, when is violence? When is protest? When is this all acceptable?
But isn't that the same though? Where's the protest against the regime that's killing people in the street right now? I mean, I don't see anybody at Columbia.
Well, they're doing those today, and it's called the ICE protests.
Well, but they talking about Iran at the ICE protests?
No, I think they're talking about the regime that's shooting people in the face. I mean, I think it's a very American idea to not want police forces to be able to shoot Americans indiscriminately. And the idea that J.D. Vance says is that they should have absolute immunity. You know, I thought this guy was a hillbilly. He had a book, Hillbilly Elegy. And I can tell you, hillbilly values, at least from where I'm from in Appalachia, are.
Corbin's my former boss, and he's a complete fucking asshole. Well, don't know him personally, but he's cooking here.
That the government ought not be able to have absolute immunity when they shoot you in the face. But maybe we came from a different Appalachia.
Okay, Corbin.
So what's funny to me is, when is violence? When is protest? When is this all acceptable?
But isn't that the same though? Where's the protest against the regime that's killing people in the street right now? I mean.
He absolutely fucking cooked him. Absolutely fucking cooked his ass. He's 100% right. And I love that because it's like such a pro-American counter too. So you just have nothing on that shit. It is the most pro-American counter of all time. Like, what can you say to that? If you're Fox News, to be like, well, why don't you worry about Iran? Why don't we talk about Iran? And it's like, brother, what do you mean? Like, the current regime in the United States of America is fucking killing American citizens. I thought this was an American news station.